56, now she's 70. And it seemed to me at the time that the surgeons have cracked the code beyond women in their 60s to make them look so far behind that their kids are trying to catch up to them. Okay. Well, it appears that Kris Jenner's new facelift is slipping away from her and she's having a hard time catching up with it. Let's get into it. Hi, and welcome to my channel. My name is Lena, and if you enjoyed this content at the end, I hope that you consider subscribing if you haven't yet subscribed or you're new to my channel. And for all the ones that have been here before, welcome back, welcome back. You know what you're in for, right? Listen, I'm calling this type of series that I'm doing two things. My version of YouTube Shorts, because usually my videos are over an hour, because I do a review, a recap of right now, currently Sex and the City and Just Like That before. And I'm going to go through this as my version of YouTube Shorts on things that come up on my YouTube homepage. Because I don't know what's going on with my algorithm, but my algorithm has made choices for me that I still don't understand. I've never even requested this information, but somehow I'm getting, bullied into watching things that I prefer not to even know about. So you know what? I'm going to combat that and I'm going to start talking about it. So let's get into Kris Jenner, Mama Bear to the Kardashians, or who I like to call the Narcissistic Incorporated family. As we all may remember, and for those who don't, Kris is 70 years old. And last year, around the same time, apparently she had, and this ranges between $100,000 to $500,000 facelift that turned her from looking 70 years old to basically looking like one of Kim Kardashian in her early 40s. And that's a good chunk of time that she tried to turn back. If she can turn back time. And unfortunately, from what reports are saying, that she is not happy almost a year in with this surgery, because it is what I want to medically say settling in, because I did not know this either. I don't know, because I've never looked into this. And since last year, it has been exploding everywhere. So your first facelift apparently customarily lasts about 10, 15 years, which she already had one while back ago in her 40s, alleged, supposedly, I don't know. And this would be her second facelift. And the second one and any facelift thereafter does not last as many years. You cannot turn back time. No matter how much you pay. Seriously. Because that's the only thing I thought about when I saw this coming up. Because last year I was fascinated and intrigued and, not gonna lie, a little scared. The woman looked better than me. Okay. And I'm 56. And I'm like, if I'm 56 now, she's 70. And it seemed to me at the time that the surgeons have cracked the code beyond women in their 60s to make them look so far behind that their kids are trying to catch up to them. Okay. Or something like that. And I was like, my God, what is going to happen when I turn 70? I'm going to look like I'm 30. If I ever decided to go through that, which, by the way, scares the hell out of me. Okay? It does. I'm not going to lie. It does. So I was like, this advancement in surgery and medicine and all these injectables, I'm like, I feel like we are in a test period, and who better else to test it on people who have money, who can afford to be test guineas. And apparently she didn't expect this to happen, again, allegedly. So I started checking on, my least favorite app, TikTok. I hate TikTok. And I found Dr. Yoon, who I do follow on YouTube, and I'm going to share his video, TikTok video, where he goes through this whole process and what happened. So take a look at this and let's get back and see if we can discuss this. Okay.
Word on the street is that Kris Jenner, just over a year after her facelift, is not happy with the results. This is from Radar Online saying that she is raging after her $300,000 facelift is already slipping. This was echoed on other websites. And they're saying that she's mad because she's comparing herself to other celebrities who had facelifts like Denise Richards and Lori Loughlin, although this has not been confirmed. So what's going on here? Did she get ripped off by paying that much money for a facelift? Is it the technique that was used? Is it something else? Well, take a peek at what I said about a year ago after she came out with her first facelift results. The fourth thing I believe is that she is in a sweet spot after surgery, about 2 to 4 months after a facelift, where the swelling is still a little bit there, but things are still pretty tight. Over the next 6 months or so, I would fully expect some relaxation to occur and for that skin to kind of settle a bit. So I bet you 6 months from now, she's still gonna look great, but not quite as tight as this. The fact is that all facelifts settle with time, whether it's a deep plane, whether it's a SMAS, and whether you pay $30,000 or $300,000. But the other thing that she has to keep in mind is that she is not as young as the other celebrities. In general, Kris Jenner at the age of 70 shouldn't expect the same longevity of results as Denise Richards at the age of 61. And we also have to keep in mind that Denise Richards apparently recently had her facelift. It hasn't been over a year like with Kris. And keep in mind that these photos have been shopped and edited so much that they might as well be paintings of her, not actual photographs. The key to getting great results with a facelift is choosing the right surgeon and taking care of yourself from the inside and out so that those results can last for you. I think it's also possible that this story is not real. To my understanding, Kris Jenner has not actually verified that this is true and that she's upset. It is possible that another plastic surgeon, someone who's jealous of her actual plastic surgeon, planted this story to try to make him look bad. I've actually heard of stories like this happening. I've seen it with my own eyes, although I wasn't involved with it. And no, you don't have to pay $300,000 for a good facelift. Here are some of my patients, before and after they had facelifts with me, and I don't charge anywhere near $300,000. Although if you want to pay me $300,000, I will happily take it, but we don't charge anywhere near like that.
Okay. From him and several other doctors, I learned the whole process and procedure of what she had. And it does not make me feel any more comfortable. And this is a very touchy subject because aging for everyone is different. The way they do it, the way they go about it, what they feel about it, what they want to expose, divulge, share, whatever the hell it is. Everyone has their own thing about it. And I'm okay with that. I'm not here to chase after anyone's surgery. And we have been going through this aging aging discussion from before I was even born, right? Here's the difference that's going on right now. When movie stars in Hollywood would age, it was a big thing because they were very vocal about it, or sometimes they just go back into, retreat and they don't come back out. We don't see them after a number of years. It really was depending on the person, okay? And that's because they were always in the front line. They were always in the spotlight. They were always being photographed or in a movie or talked about. Since now the democratization of popularity and being able to be online at any given time, and any one person, normal person like we are, because we're not Hollywood stars, okay? We are constantly in that same type of limelight, whether self-made, whether because, you're popular on YouTube and somebody's taking a picture of you and you're outdoors and people catch you without your filters. There's a lot of pressure, not just on the Hollywood people, but people in general. Now, facelifts have been around for a very long time. I remember the time that I didn't know my grandmother got a facelift. I didn't realize. I remember going to take her to the hospital. I had to be no more than 7 years old. Okay. And I don't recall the amount of time that went by. I just remember the next time I saw my grandmother, she was in her bedroom and she had one of those big white gauzes around her face. And I was too young to understand what it was. And her face was swollen. So she had to be around 50, 55. And then I'm going to say it was about 30 years later, before her passing, maybe 5 years before her passing, I was sitting on the bed with her and I had noticed this scar behind her ear. And I had asked her, I said, what the hell is that from? What happened to you? And she goes, you don't remember me getting a facelift? I'm like, asada what? You got a facelift? She goes, yeah, what did you think that was? I'm like, "Uh, you know I was 7, right? I wouldn't even understand what that is. And that's when I learned that a lot of people were getting facelifts. And it was way different than what the hell's going on now. Okay. Now it's the soup du jour. Seems like everybody is getting one in any way, shape, or form, whether it's a facelift, it's fillers, whatever it is. And again, I cannot tell any one person what they should and shouldn't do with your own physique, face, whatever. But I find it very interesting that anyone now, because we're so exposed, whether we have a YouTube channel or TikTok or a Instagram, and we become popular as sometimes superseding some of the Hollywood people now, that our looks are on the forefront and people are getting into this surgery or any kind of surgeries a lot faster. And I'm not sure if the medicine and the surgery has caught up to this, because from what I'm seeing and understanding, if this is true about Kris Jenner, because if you see here from the day that she had the surgery, I'll put it up, or the time a few days after and prior to that, and what's happening now to her. Okay. There's a stark difference, but the problem I have is that I can't tell from when she initially came out of, the surgery, how much of that was filtered from the cameras. And what we are seeing now and what people are saying that she's unhappy was always the way it looked. It's just, it's getting worse. And I don't feel sorry for her as a person in that general sense. I feel sorry for people and people like her and just normal everyday people that we are so, um, self-conscious about growing older, because I've said it 100 times. Growing older is a privilege, not a right. It doesn't mean that you have to look like crap going there, but if that's your choice, that you don't want to de-age yourself, then God bless you. I see myself, I see my 11 lines coming in. you know I see my laugh line becoming more predominant. I see my neck getting wrinkler. I am mentally preparing myself for the day that I wake up and my face falls. I'm going to be 100% honest with you, and I don't know what I will do. I might freak out. I don't know. I know that surgery scares the shit. I've only had one surgery in my entire lifetime, and it was to give birth to my son. I had a C-section, and I have, knocked on wood, have not needed another one since. I've thought about doing Botox, but that scares me too. I don't know how I want to age. I know that when the time comes, I will have a real deep conversation mentally with myself and see how I feel from that point, and talk to someone that can help me understand what I can do if I want to do anything at all. Right now, my regimen is, I've already done a video before about what I do and what I use. I use Vaseline on my face. I use oil of Olay religiously since I was 13 years old. Okay. I'm wearing actually less eye makeup because I've realized that for years I used to use the black eyeliner above my eyelids, and I haven't liked the way it looks all the time anymore. And I feel that, maybe just using a little eyeshadow and a little bit of pink eye lipstick over my eyes and a little bit of blush, I feel a little bit freer. So I toggle between the two. I do notice the wrinkles, and I do know that I'm getting older, and there's going to come a time that there's not enough Vaseline or oil of Olay in the world that's going to put me back into my shape of my face. And who knows what state of mind I'll be in. But when I did see Kris, I was blown away and I was scared, because that's not my grandmother anymore. You get me? Like, she's a grandma, and I see all these other women, like, younger than her, let's predominantly say like Demi Moore. Dear God. She's in her 60s. So she's what? She's got 10 years on her or less than 10 years on her. I mean, she may be 62, 63. And it's like, wow, she got like, if I'll show you the picture, her face was sculpted, her jawline, and it looked bad. And I adored Demi because she had dark hair. She was never too thin. She had that raspy voice, and I was looking forward to her getting older to see how it would Hollywood older. And then I look at women like Goldie Hawn, who I don't know if she's had any work, but you could tell she's aging, right? And I don't know if she feels bothered by it, but it's nice to see not everyone is throwing themselves in front of a surgeon and they're allowing the process to happen. The problem is we don't let ourselves go through that process. We criticize. And I will admit, I criticized Sarah Jessica Parker, not because she was aging and she refused to go into Under the Knife. I think that her personality and her, I'm not going to get into it because I also believe that ugliness comes from within too. Beauty is not just what you put on your face. Okay. Beauty comes from the way that you are as a person, the way that you treat others, the way that you have respect for others and yourselves and your loved ones and strangers on the street. That can resonate and give you radiance beyond, what you see in a mirror. What confuses me about Narcissistic Incorporated, DBA, the Kardashians, is that their life is so intertwined with their face and what they need to always consistently look like that I don't even recognize them anymore. I don't. And Kim Kardashian, I didn't realize she was in her 40s. And she looks so plastered. Kris Jenner, what is it? The other one, the other sisters, I don't even know. I can't remember their names. Honestly, I don't. But after listening to Dr. Jung, and understanding a little bit more the process and just the process of also understanding how many times you should be getting a facelift and all that. And then I look at these women who are not just the Kardashians and Kris Jenner and everybody on TikTok. It's like, they're popping, surgeries like it's, like TikToks. I do feel that whatever she had done could be the start of where we're going with surgery because it's not going to stop. There's going to be an increase of this and there's going to be, advancements. There's going to be better tools because my grandmother's facelift doesn't look anything like this, right? And some of the people that I've seen. I can't imagine in 15 years when I'm hitting my 70s. Wow. I hope to God that I do. I really do. I do. That I don't know what advancements in this is going to happen, and for those who cannot and do not do it, how they and me possibly will be treated. Maybe I'll let my hair go silver. I don't know. Will you judge me? Will you still love me tomorrow in 15 years? I don't know. But I know that no matter who loves me and who doesn't, I need to love me. And I feel that that's what's lacking in this whole situation with Jenner, Kris. There's something internal that she doesn't allow herself to let herself grow older and appreciate what she's done, whether we agree with it or not, and enjoy the process. Like she's constantly has to be on, and it's all of them. And it's not just her. It's just that when we see it from Hollywood, it's 20 times amplified than some of the people that I see online right now that are falling into this exact trap. And if you have done this and you've come out of it on the other side and you're happy, good for you. Again, I cannot tell people what they should and shouldn't do. I could just tell you what my fears are. And when I saw this coming up on my homepage and I started to do the research about it and whether she's admitting it or not, because it's all alleged, be at peace with yourself, because that's the only thing that's going to get you through whatever decision you make. Okay? Take care of your skin, use sunscreen, moisturize. I can go on a rampage. I do use retinol as well, not as much as I should, only because it does, it breaks me out a little bit. So I have to be very cautious, but I am on a regimen too. This doesn't happen. This doesn't happen overnight. I didn't wake up like this. So, there is work behind it. I feel comfortable with what I feel and what I see looking back at me, not just in the mirror, but in my soul. So I thought this was interesting to bring up. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know if you saw this too. Were you just as surprised when you saw the surgery? When I saw the pictures, I knew they were altered, though she still looked great. But I knew that that couldn't have been what you saw face to face. It didn't seem real. And what I'm seeing now, based on what the pictures are coming out, that seems more realistic to me than what everybody was trying to play us off to be. And if anyone believes that these advancements in medicine today and surgery, what is the future? I cannot get over this one Twilight Zone. If anybody's a Twilight Zone fan, there's this episode where there's this girl who keeps fighting to be changed to look like everyone else. And it's two different versions or three different versions of women that she can pick from because she didn't look like it. They all have to go through this surgery. So the entire population, I'll see if I can find a clip and put it in there. And she needs to make a decision and she's fighting it because she doesn't want to look like everyone else. And that's what I feel like when I see what's happening to us. It's like we all have to look the same. Maybe we have a choice of 3 or 4 versions, but at the end of the day, it's only 3 or 4 versions. What makes us different is our uniqueness. Like I have this crooked tooth right there. It's been driving me crazy because I wasn't born like that. It happened later on in my life. My molars started to come up and my tooth twisted. And I thought about getting it straightened out because I've always had perfectly straight teeth. And I have grown to accept that over the years. And I'm still debating if I want to fix that because at the end of the day, it makes me who I am. And that's what I'm saying. Like every time I see this, I see everybody wanting to look like 3 or 4 variations of these popular people. And it's like, why can't you have a gap in your tooth? Why can't your lips be thin? Why can't you, have brown eyes and you're trying to make them blue? Why? Why are you doing that? To look like who? Look like you. So I have another video coming up on something that scared the hell out of me. So I hope you enjoyed this one because this one did scare me on a surgical sense. The one I'm going to share with you after I edit this video and hopefully get it out today is something deeper that has to do with the country and something that's happening. Has nothing to do with the Strait of Hormuz. So I don't think so. So let me know your thoughts. Thank you for letting me rant, and share this information with you. And if you haven't been following Dr. Yoon, I think I can leave a link to his his YouTube page down below. But I got this information from TikTok. He's an interesting doctor. I do like some of the things that he says. And share with me some other people that you follow online to see if they are in line with what we are talking about too. So listen, stay tuned, and have a great day, night, week, month, year, and from here to around the world that I reach. Thank you, everyone. Goodbye. Mwah.